Okay, yeah, tell us about your neighbors across the street.
Okay.
And Vic and the one that would come over on the horse.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, they were Vic, Carrie, and Millie, I believe was her name, and she had multiple sclerosis. When they were first moved there, she was pretty good, but it became more of a problem. They had four boys and a girl.
Huh.
The oldest one was girl was Margaret.
So were they your age?
Oh,
Any
no,
of them?
they were younger.
Oh, they're younger.
Because I didn't really know them too well. Eileen knew them a little better because I was in college and
I see.
Eileen was just finishing high school and so on. But anyway,
They had 5 little kids.
yeah, and the youngest one I've been
So they farmed
They
too?
they rented.
They
were
rented,
farmers,
but they farmed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So who owned that land they rented from?
He was a lawyer in town, and he must have owned that because even though Hank lived there for a number of years, he never owned it. And even today, if you talk to Grace, she didn't even know that. She thought her dad did own that farm, but
So he sold it to this lawyer?
no, the lawyer just kept renting it.
Oh. So that was never in the family? Oh, I didn't know that either.
See, where our farm was, there was another, what'd they call them, acre, half acre, anyway. Our family part was partly, I'll say, on the north side, theirs was on the south. But anyway, when the family divided,
Right, divided.
okay, well, Dad got the one where we lived,
Right,
and there was a creek that ran through it.
right.
And so it wasn't divided evenly.
Okay.
So it was, let's say, 160. I think the whole thing was 320.
Oh.
So then that's why Mom had a little odd number, like.
So.
But anyway. So anyway, they divided it, but the creek was the thing that made it an odd number.
Sure.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So
there
who got property besides your dad?
Well, the rest of the family, but they had property other places. They had property up northern Minnesota, and they had property in Iowa. So everybody got something.
I see. Then why was Kit so? You used to tell me how because you were beholding to her in some way. So I thought it had to do with this property.
When they ended up, some people got money, some people got land, some people ended up owing other family members money.
I see.
And this is what happened in that case.
Because she didn't have any land. She didn't want land.
I guess not, no.
I see.
Yeah, okay.
So then your dad had to pay installments to her?
Well, I don't know if they were installments, but eventually he had to pay her some.
Back.
But at the very end, she canceled the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But she probably got Grandma to buy so many
hats for her. Right.
It probably.
I think maybe her conscience began to bother her. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So tell us more about the Karens across the road.
Karens, okay. But anyway,
they were French, you said.
They were, but the Mrs. Karen was the Weifels.
Oh,
and I think that was a Belgian name. I'm really not sure. And they were quite well. I don't know if they're well-to-do, but I remember that a nice-looking farm.
The Weifels.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And they were farmers near Marshall, or?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But Vic had it just seems like everything he did was turned bad on him.
Oh.
And I can remember one morning he was going to go take kids to school or do something, and the car wouldn't start, and he pushed it and did everything he could. And even at that time, we didn't have tractors then, and I can remember he hitched up his horses to get the car moving. I mean, like at our house, we had a hill.
Yeah.
We always pushed the car over.
Well, you said cars. Oftentimes you had. To
Well,
kinda,
all the time.
Yeah.
They were very undependable. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can still remember him, and I think he was cussing the blue streak at the horses.
Oh dear.
And one other time he had a lot of chickens, and I don't know, he had something in the heat to heat the place up, and it got fire. He lost all his chickens.
Oh,
He
no.
got that poor guy had more bad luck.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So that's what I always said. I don't know if Mom ever helped him out a little bit, but I hope she did, because
Well, you said he came. I mean,
he came all the way down to her funeral, and her son,
from
one of his sons,
northern
yeah,
Minnesota,
so-
and one of his sons too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Grandma probably
yeah,
did.
I think so. She probably did. I know she was as kind as she could be to him. But anyway, this was after I left, and he had moved up to northern Minnesota, and his wife had died. That's when Mom died, and he came down. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So then, was it one of his oldest sons that would have been on the horse?
No, he was the youngest.
Oh, he was the
He
youngest.
was the youngest. I'm trying to think of his name, but it's not coming to me. Oh, I didn't tell that part of the story, did I?
No, I'm trying to
Okay.
get you to.
They had five children, and this little guy was the youngest, and he had a pony. And the houses were just right across the road, kind of like town almost.
Mm.
But anyway, he would come over, come into the yard, and come up to the house. He wouldn't get off the pony. He'd say, Mrs. Kigney, do you have any cookies? Oh, great story, huh?
Well, you have to tell what kind of cookies Grandma always made.
Oh, they were sugar cookies. I think that's the only kind my mother ever knew how to make. My mother was a cook, but she was not a great cook.
She probably didn't like to cook.
Well, she said that she never had much practice because she always had to do the dishes.
Oh, in her family?
May and Maud did all the cooking, and she had to do the dishes.
Oh.
So she said, I never got much practice. So
Was May a good cook too?
May,
Uh-huh.
I think she was the best.
Oh, May was.
Well, I don't know about Maud, but of course May, we ate a lot of meals at her
yeah, but
house.
Maud was the one that had the restaurant in Oregon.
Yeah, in Oregon. Yeah, she
So
was.
she
just-
must have been pretty good.
Oh yeah, she was pretty good. I'm not saying that.
And she's the one that said, nothing could be bad if you had enough butter
Yeah,
and cream.
Yeah,
So I think that was wise.
yeah. And well, there was 5 girls and 5 boys, 5 girls. But anyway, with the big family, you put them out for hire or something.
Sure.
But I know she did whatever you called it at that time, when
Or
it
she
worked
lived
for
with
families.
the family. You lived with them?
No, I think she lived with her own family, but she
work
housework for this family.
Oh.
In fact, her husband was a son.
Of somebody she worked with.
But that's why they always said it was what do you call it when somebody, like some of the Oriental people there.
Like an arranged
Right.
marriage?
It really wasn't, but of
Yeah.
course that's kind of what they felt like. I
They
guess.
teased it.
Yeah.
They teased them. Huh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Huh. And Grandma and her sister May got along really well, I guess, because they were always together.
Well, one of the reasons is May was married and she lived up in Marshall. And when Loretta was born,
Loretta's the oldest.
she was a preemie, and she had all kinds of health problems. And
Well, she had scurvy.
yeah.
Is that the main one, or she have other
Oh,
health
I don't
problems?
know. I would say she probably had others.
Oh.
I don't know. But anyway, my mother had already taught 10 years.
Oh.
And I guess,
So was she married yet?
no.
Oh, okay.
No. We're getting to that.
Okay.
But anyway, I guess probably May asked her to come up and help her or something with all these little kids and
From
stuff.
Iowa.
Yeah, from Red Oak, Iowa. And so my mom went, and when
So before you go on, so when Grandma came back, she went with her cousin out to Wyoming. Then she came back because the cousin had to come back because her father was ill.
No, it was my dad's. It was Mom's uncle, I think, that wanted her to come back. Whether it was illness or what it was, I can't tell you.
But he wanted his daughter to come back, not Grandma.
I don't think. Maybe you got the story better than I. I don't know whose daughter. What was her name?
So she would have been the daughter of who?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe you're right there. Maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you've told it that way before. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's leave it at that.
I don't know.
Let's not move it.
So I wondered because that's what I wondered. What did Grandma do when she came back from Wyoming? And she was in Red Oak, and the other daughter was taking care of her father, is what I thought. So I thought, well, why did... I know they had to go together, but it was sort of like, did Grandma help take care of her uncle, or what was she doing?
Well, I guess maybe she was, because that seemed to be the kind of story. Somebody who needed help or was ill or something, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, now where was it in my story?
Yeah, then I screwed up your story. So you're talking about how they met, I think, if we were getting to that.
Okay, that's right.
So she came to help May in Marshall because she had this sickly baby.
Yeah, that's right, okay. Let's see. And my dad was not farming at that time.
Oh.
He was working in a granary, whatever.
Oh.
And the farmers would come in and have their grain ground or whatever.
I see.
And Homer, I said at the beginning he had a farm. He and May had a farm.
Oh.
They lost it eventually, I guess, but yeah.
Because of the Depression?
Probably, because they never owned a farm again. They always rented. But anyway, so Homer, who is May's husband, thought, well, here we can make a good match here, so with Dad and Mom. So that's kind of what that started off. Yes.
Oh, I see. So Homer liked your dad at the granary, and he said, oh, he'd be good for...
I think so.
For
Mom,
Nellie.
For Mom, yeah. Because she was probably 30 then. And back then, 30, you were really pretty old.
You were an old maid.
Yeah. So, but anyway. And like I was saying last night, although Dad wasn't a farmer, then I don't know where along the line. He owned the land.
So he rented it?
Probably.
Rented it out to somebody?
Because like I say, I think he must have been not well-to-do, but it wasn't Depression time anyway. Because I can remember we kind of had a lot of things. And we always had a car, where some people didn't have a car. They had to go by, horses or whatever.
So so May was married before, right? Because she had Gert. And what happened to that husband?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that husband?
He had appendicitis and died.
Oh. So was he a farmer too?
I think they were in Nebraska, but I would guess yes.
Oh.
Their name was Shanahan. See, that's Gert's name. But I think maybe it was Iowa, but it might have been Nebraska.
So May lived in Nebraska for a while?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But there's some connection there between Shanahan
and
Nebraska.
So is there more to the story, or should I ask? I got a question. Is there more you want to tell, or should
No,
I?
I think that's about as far as I can go on that.
So you said you guys got quite a bit of things for Christmas. So what kind of things do you remember getting when you were little? So the Depression came when you were in what grade?
I think it was the worst when I was 9 years old.
Mm. So before that, you got things for Christmas and things.
Like I said, Mom even had dresses made for us. And
That's right, yeah.
yeah. The things I kind of remember about, one time somebody was talking about all the little kitchen utensils that were glass or metal, painted or whatever. That's the kind of things I kind of remember. And I know we had a Christmas tree, and it had holders that you put candles in and put them on the tree. It's one way it didn't burn everything down. I can remember those. Those holders were around the house for a long time.
So they were each individual and...
And I remember...
You could buy the candles, or you had to...
I think so. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they were big. And the only two Christmases meals I remember is Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Tom were living in the Marshall area at that time. He was a farmer after his wife died, or before too, probably. And
Grandma and Grandpa helped him with his
when his wife died, they just moved in with him, yeah. So I can remember having, in the Marshall, they lived in Iowa first, but then they came up to Marshall. He only lived in Marshall, I don't think, very long. Probably didn't have...
This is Grandma's brother. No. Yeah, Grandma's brother. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I can remember Grandma's parents were living with Tom and his 3 girls. And I can remember being at their house for Christmas. And the one Christmas I remember is it was snowing, and we went to... They lived in 2 different places. They were renters, so it meant renters moved around a lot. So it was snowing, and we had to take a sleigh to my grandmother's house for Christmas. And I never remember anything what we had. I think she was a good cook, too, though. And the other Christmas...
Your grandmother? Oh.
The other Christmas I remember is my Uncle Tom bought little colored rings for each one of us, and then a little different colored stone in each one. And there was,
He had 3
girls, and the Chandlers had...
Oh, I forgot the Chandlers.
And then Eileen and I. And so Uncle Tom had to buy a lot of rings. And I suppose they were about 5 cents a piece. And that I'll always remember, I'm sure. The sleigh ride and the rings, I'll always remember.
What color ring did you pick?
I think maybe red, for some reason I seem to know that was my color. Or not my color, what do you call it?
Look good on you?
No, you had a birthstone.
Oh, yeah,
color.
July, yeah.
I think that's probably it.
It's ruby.
Yeah, so it was red.
I see.
Yeah.
And Eileen didn't fight you for it. Because hers would have been ruby, too.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think she did. I don't think she got it, because I remember being... Yeah. It was my prize for a long time.
Maybe she didn't care.
Yeah, she'd rather be outside climbing a tree or something. And what we had to eat, I don't remember anything about that.
Well, you said you ate oyster stew or something.
Oh, that was much later.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Years later.
So what would be a big deal dinner? Maybe before the Depression.
I don't know. You'd have to talk to somebody else. I don't know. I'm sure there were products from the farm, like a roast beef or...
So would you have raised your own turkey?
I don't know way back then, because I know later we did have a few turkeys. But maybe my grandfather might have. He was the guy to do it. But I just don't remember.
You said he was very mechanical. Do you remember him fixing anything that...
I just remember
Broken
people
thing?
talking about it,
Oh.
mainly. And I think that John, the one who Lucilla's husband, they said he was really a good mechanic.
Oh.
And I kind of think they all were a little bit. Even my mom was better than my dad.
And Lucilla is related to you, but I forget how.
John is one of my uncles, and she was his wife.
Oh.
So
Oh,
she
she was
actually,
your aunt.
She actually was my aunt.
Oh.
But he was in a bad accident, and I don't know. I guess they got divorced someplace. I'm not even sure of that.
In a car accident?
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
I think it was. He had a flat tire or something, and he was out fixing the tire, and another car ran into him.
Oh, dear.
So I think he was hurt badly, but
Oh, that's too bad. Jeepers.
so that was kind of all before I knew too much. I was pretty young, I guess.
Yeah, you don't know. They're
No,
just adults. Who knows
Yeah, I just don't
who
remember.
they are? Mm. Are we through for today, or
Okay.
you know any more stories?
Parts of the family
Oh.
would be in Minnesota at one time or in Iowa some part of the time. So I kind of have trouble following that line too, but
Oh. Do you ever remember going to Iowa?
I remember going to Iowa once when I was older, and it took us all day.
Oh.
I remember we took a lunch with us, and we stopped along the road.
Were there any cities in between there?
I guess there kind of were, but we didn't. I don't remember. If there were, they were just a stop in
Not
the road.
much, huh?
Until you got to Sioux City. I didn't go to Red Oak, where Mama was born, until many years later. And then I went with the Chandlers in a car, in their car. I kind of remember that. But I was older then.
Well, what were you going for?
Just to go down and see relatives, which
Oh.
you didn't see them very often back then. You didn't go
No,
very
that's
far.
what you said. Hmm.
Homer was better at taking family and doing things. My dad was so busy working all the time. That's why my mother would get so upset with him.
So your dad had a brother named Homer? I'm confused. Who are you talking about, Homer? Oh, you mean of the Chandlers? Oh, yeah. I see. So Grandma wanted to go places.
Yep. My mother wanted to go places. I remember she always, towards her later years, if I ever buy a new car, I'm going to buy a red car.
That's funny. Remember, Grandma liked to go to the Goodwill when she stayed with us and Dad, and we'd go out to the Goodwill, and we'd find things from, I don't know.
I can imagine her being at a Goodwill. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she'd buy like vases or something from Japan, or I don't know what else. I can remember kind of these vases. Dad would kind of go do his own thing, and Grandma would look at all this other stuff.
Well, when you went with Dad any place, that's what's happened. I mean, we'd go to a park someplace, and he'd take off, and he'd be done in 10 minutes. And you were kind of left stranded there.
I remember, I don't know who, I guess, we didn't really go any place unless there was somebody we're going to take or show them something. But I remember we went one time to the Oakland Zoo, or we probably did that a few times, but I can remember Dad at the Oakland Zoo, whether he bought some peanuts or something. Anyway, he was having a good time. But he was entertaining someone.
Oh, visiting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he liked that.
He liked to take
I'll tell us about that. I shouldn't tell us, but anyway, whenever we were had company like that or something, if we were going someplace to look at something or see something, and we were going in as a family, he would always go in first. He'd never open the door for me. Any other time he usually would. But if we had company, I don't know if he was so excited to show him whatever. I don't know, but it was really funny.
He was discombobulated. Huh. Yeah, he kind of had one speed. He kind of went fast when he's walking. Carrie's like that now. I have to hurry up to keep up with her.
Yeah, keep
if
up.
she's going someplace, it's like,
Yeah.
we're going to the bar. Well, gotta keep up with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he was. And he'd take us to the Tommy Tucker, which I'm sure Mike and I will never forget. And I don't know if you ever got a cone. I don't know. Dad would buy pistachio. He liked pistachio ice cream. Did he bring you an ice cream too?
I did. I think I had
I
some
hope
ice
so.
cream, yeah.
You didn't come into the Tommy Tucker so much. It's usually Dad. All right, enough. Yeah, we talked for about a half an hour.